As we know, throughout time, there have been challenges on the planet. People have gone through difficulties. Our ancestors went through so many challenges, so many challenges. There have been wars, there have been plagues, there have been famines, right? Weather, ice ages. We're the survivors of challenge. And here we are in the midst of a ginormous worldwide crises. Wherever you are, to whatever degree you're sensing it, there is one collective body that we also are part of, and so we're going to feel it. But this video isn't about necessarily what's all wrong and challenging and difficult. There's plenty of of channels that you can go to in order to be able to go down rabbit holes of all that, right? This is a spiritual channel. I can go many different places in my own life and talk about many different subjects, but this channel here is about leaning on what is always true and what's always here in order to be able to support our lives. And so, right now, what's the best thing that one can do? Is to come back home to yourself. Come back home. And it's been the best thing to do 10 years ago, 20 years ago, before you were born, throughout time. It's been the most absolutely sane thing to do is come back home. That's the invitation, no matter what's happening in the world at any continuum of time. It's always been the same. And now it's no different. And I think that so many of us are trying to find relief for this low level or a heightened sense of anxiety that's taking place. And that relief, there is such a desire to be able to feel better. It could be that one is getting lost in content, which is maybe the internet, scrolling, or food, or doing something just to help take care of this unease that lives inside. And so this message that I'm talking about might not be like so fulfilling because it's not an instant fix. There has to be some kind of willingness to just stop and settle, a willingness to be able to take that backward step, as they say in Zen, back into yourself and settle in and be able to feel and just let yourself feel what's taking place and be able to center yourself, spend some time in nature, and do some spiritual practices, maybe some breathing, some chanting, to take care of yourself right now. Okay. And so, no matter what's happening on the planet, what's happening in the world, even in one's own life, which can be so, so challenging at any given time for any of us, I understand that. In my own life, there have been tons of challenges. There have been losses, there have been some betrayals, there have been deaths, there have been a couple financial crises, single motherhood. There have been some real life stuff, health. I was in a car accident, for those who don't know, and had 9 broken bones, and I had to have surgery. There was I've gone through it too, okay? And I won't say that I'm suffering or my suffering has been even worthy of being paid attention to others by others. But what I'm trying to say is that what I'm sharing is true for me as well. And everything that I share on this channel is something that I know to be true through my own experience. And that is the way that we're able to navigate in this world. And like I said, no matter what time it is, throughout history, has always been the same thing. And that is to remember what we are in truth. Okay. Well being and circumstances come and go, right? Good days, good fortune, bad fortune come and go. And that's the nature of life. And the spiritual awakening, realization, enlightenment trip doesn't save you from life as it is. It doesn't save one. And that's something that I had to also wake up to. Like, boing, if I had big eyes, they would be really big at that point. Like, what? Spiritual awakening that I've been pursuing, and this was probably in my 30s, my mid 30s, when I really came to that, like, grokked it finally, finally got it. It was going to save me from my life, as it is. My beloved brother died. It was a tragic accident. He died. We were 1 year apart. And I was on my way to realization, as far as I could tell. I was feeling better and better. That was the proof. I was feeling better and better. No, and there was peace, and there was equanimity, and there was feeling presence that I could, I often point to feel the felt sense of presence, sense into it. It's similar. At the time, I didn't know who Nisargadatta was, but when I've discovered him, he says, you know, feel into or tap into the felt sense of I am. So it's a felt sense. Since we have bodies, we can feel. So I was, the Kundalini was activated and going, and equanimity was taking place and all this stuff. And then my brother dies. And it was like this naivety went out the window. Like, what? I didn't even know I had this naivety of this idea that I should, that didn't even think about it. But it felt like I was robbed of, like, what? Something, I didn't get saved from a disaster. It's like, who? Obviously, I didn't have a teacher to tell me it's not going to save you. I had to learn that face plant in the mud, you know. It did help me, all that work and all that understanding about reality. This was a deep, deep, deep kind of like the rug being pulled out from under me. Actually, what I said was, it's like a bomb went off in the middle of my living room, and there was nowhere to hide. There was no way to pretend anymore that truth, reality, is not here to serve us and make our lives better and magically, like a little wand, going to fix everything. And that disasters and horrible things can still happen and will and might. Yeah, accidents happen, all kinds of stuff, right? Wars through no doing of the innocent people. So I don't know why I thought that somehow I'd be protected, that awakening was sort of like this kind of, because I guess maybe because I felt so good, sort of like in the flow and all the stuff that people are looking for. Anyway, regardless, it sobered me up, and and still I noticed over time that this that is always here didn't go anywhere. And so even with these crises, different crises in my life, that truth, what is always here, the being part that is like always in the background, that's untouched by everything, and that moves to the foreground, as they say, as we get more and more in awareness of it, that it didn't go anywhere, no matter what was happening in life, no matter. And so it was a tragic thing to lose my brother And also, it solidified this understanding that what is always here, regardless of circumstances, doesn't go anywhere. So I'm bringing up this example because you may be going through your own crises, or you maybe are remembering one of your own. We know that our beloved world is going through a, many crises right now. And so throughout time, the spiritual lantern of remembering has been passed down to each one of us as a gift. Our predecessors, those who have walked this trail before us, have passed on this light. Remember yourself in darkness. Remember yourself in good moments, in bad moments. We tend to not look for ourselves during good moments. And if one thing can come out of this difficult time period of on our planet, and of course there have been other difficult time periods. And I don't know if I feel like getting into it, why right now is an especially difficult one, maybe because there's so many of us on the planet. Mother Earth, I don't know if nature can, how much she can sustain our greed, our ignorance. But regardless, where darkness seems to visit and challenges come and go. And a lot of it is self-created as a collective, as we know. It's self-created, unfortunately. And still, the invitation is come back home to yourself. How about now? How about now? And it's getting harder, unfortunately, because of distraction, because of our attention spans are shorter, because of we've been trained through media and through visual, stuff on the computer screen and all that, and to have our attention be hijacked over and over and over. It's harder and harder just to be here, right? It's just harder to be here. Our phones, all that stuff. And and I can still hear this voice in the background of life whispering to us all. Sanity awaits. Remember yourself. Remember what's true. Remember our intrinsic wholeness. Remember our oneness with one another, with all life, and with Mother Earth and nature. Come back home to yourself. Remember yourself. And this feeling of being divided, and separate, and in pain and suffering can get resolved. But it takes almost like a supreme effort almost to pull oneself out of this hypnotic trance of losing oneself in the world of the media, in the world of distraction, in the world of what's wrong, right? It's hard enough in one's own life to remember to come back to just be here. But there's a lot of support. There's a lot of support on the invisible realms. There's by Mother Earth, by nature that is always itself. Have you noticed? It's always just what it is. It doesn't betray, doesn't lie to you. And that's what we are. And we forget that our bodies are this too, that we are made of this one beautiful isness called reality. So come back home to yourself. Stop imagining that it's elsewhere. Stop imagining it's even going to save you and what you should be getting from it and how it's supposed to look. Ooh, that one, how it's supposed to look. That it can't include you as you are, these beliefs and stories. That realization is what we are. Realization is this, that we are, as we are. We can hear that 100 times, but it takes actually a willingness to stop looking elsewhere. And it'll bring so much peace of mind. Your biology, your body, your nervous system will be grateful. And get support if you need it. Go get some good body work, spend time in nature, spend time with some loving friends, you know, be kind to yourself. Turn off the news. Make prayers, turn off the news. It's not like, knowing about every single thing makes every single thing more understandable or controllable. It's okay to live your life. It's okay to be here and even enjoy some of the beauties and things of life. Remember, take good care. I wish for all of us to remember what we are and our interconnection, and that we come back to sanity together and support one another as one big, loving, whole tribe and care for one another. I don't think it's too late, but it will require effort. And if it is, in a way, if it is too late, like the tipping scale, and will that really happen? The fact is, it still matters for you to remember and come back home to yourself. It's a gift to yourself, is the one self, and it contributes and it helps the whole. Okay. And at the same time, sending prayers and love and goodwill to all who are suffering and who are in crises and who feel alone. Warm wishes to you. Be well.